I had no gear on whatsoever. I mean, completely squid here. Squid, like no kind of, not even a helmet. If you would have told me 2 years ago that I'd be riding a motorcycle in Africa, I would have thought you were smoking something, because there's no way that I, Asha, am going to be riding a motorcycle in Africa. In fact, I don't even expect that I'd be riding a motorcycle anywhere. But here we are. Here I am right now today, riding a motorcycle. So how did it all start? And could you use my story maybe to get your reluctant loved one to start riding? I don't know about that, because I'm kind of a unique case here. But if maybe you have a little bit of intrepidation about starting riding a bike, maybe you are an expat that lives abroad, maybe you are someone who, maybe you're an African or a Cameroonian and you don't know whether you should start riding a bike, well, maybe my story will help, maybe not, but here goes. So the main thing that when I thought about bikes were either sport bikes or generally Harleys or something like that. So you got these people who are going really, really super fast, like they're going, 120 miles. Ooh, whoa. That's great. Just a random thing in the middle of the road for you to dip your bike into. Okay, well, anyway, continuing on. Let's say you want to go 120 miles per hour. I don't know what that is in kilometers per hour, but let's say 200 kilometers per hour. People are taking their sport bikes, wilding out, just going completely bonkers and crazy with, a helmet and a t-shirt on. That just didn't appeal to me. And even if someone did have all these hot leathers on, they're in the elements, they're in really hot weather, they're getting rained on, they're in bone-chilling cold weather. I mean, that didn't appeal to me. I mean, I had a car when I lived in the States, so why would I want to ride a bike? I mean, this didn't really make any sense to me. But living overseas has really changed that for me. And so, first of all, when I came to Cameroon, I did notice that a lot of people use motorcycles as taxis. And they're either called Okada or Ben Skinner. So they call them Okada boys or Ben Skinners. And so that depends if you're on the English-speaking side, they're called Okada, or the French-speaking side of Cameroon, where they're called Ben Skinners. Well, I, in the beginning, just completely avoided taking these motorcycle taxis. I would take the normal taxis. However, it got to the point where I moved somewhere where the traffic was just completely out of control. And if you wanted to get anywhere and you didn't have a car, pretty much a motorcycle taxi was the way to go. And we did that for a bit until we got our own truck to ride. But even after we got our truck, it's just sometimes you just want to go someplace faster. So that was the first taboo that I crossed, being a passenger on a motorcycle. Because you're a passenger a few times, you realize that you didn't die, and then you got there kind of fast, so then you want to do it again and again. And then there were some trips I took to the northern part of the country where pretty much taxis were relegated to the outskirts if you're going in between towns. And if you wanted to go anywhere in town, pretty much motorcycle taxis was almost the only way to get around, aside from renting a car or paying an exorbitant fee for a driver, which, when you want to economize, I guess the bike was way, way, way cheaper. And after taking it a few times, I just started doing it a little bit more. And so in the north, I noticed in particularly that there was a lot of motorcycles. I mean, even more than the southern part of the country. I'll stand up on the pegs here. So I guess you don't feel quite as bad when everyone is riding a motorcycle. It's like 70% of the cars on the road are motorcycles, so you just don't really think that much about it. So that's how it started to peel away more and more as I did more trips to the north for various things. And I just saw how easy it was to just be a passenger on the back of a motorcycle. It just was the thing to do, and it was the easiest thing to go along with. So now, how did I go from being a passenger on a motorcycle to taking the plunge and now being essentially a driver myself? Well, yep. Finally can get up to speed a little bit here. As you saw in a previous video, this is like my favorite road as of now to practice getting up to speed a bit. Anyway, back to the story. I had an opportunity to take a motorcycle repair course, and I jumped on it. It was so exciting for me. And a long time ago, I wanted to do automotive repair, but I couldn't do it. And so when this opportunity for motorcycle repair came, I just thought this is so amazing. You know, we learned small engine repair, repairing engines, repairing generators, started on the bikes, how to do that. And I just thought this is so amazing. And I want to repair motorcycles. So then I thought, hey, how are you going to fix motorcycles if you don't even ride a motorcycle? So I was thinking, I'll ride a little bit. You know, I got a little knock-around motorcycle like the one I have now. I've done lots of different repairs on it, had a lot of different things repaired on it, you know, to get my feet wet. Hey, I'll just practice a little bit on the motorcycle, you know, because to me, it's one thing being a passenger, but, you know, being the actual driver of a motorcycle in this traffic, absolutely not. And that's, boys and girls, how I got hooked. I took that motorcycle out for a ride, got on the saddle, and that sense of freedom, that wind hitting me, it was so amazing. I didn't even have an official course. I was supposed to have someone teach me how to ride a motorcycle, but I was so impatient. I started devouring YouTube videos on how to use the clutch and the brake and when to use which brake and the throttle and all of that. And I saw a YouTube channel where it gave step-by-step instructions on how to ride a motorcycle. Okay, here we go. Here's a little bit of congestion here, right on that area where everyone takes a bus to leave town. Looks like there's a bus up ahead that's wanting to back in here. Okay, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Okay. All right, here's my chance. Going to slowly go around, make sure there's nothing coming. Okay, just a few bikes. And made it. Okay, as I was saying, I watched a few motorcycle tutorial videos from different angles, different YouTubers, and I thought, in my yard, I'm just going to give it a try. So I just decided to get on the bike. You can see, maybe I'll put up a video here, but I can barely touch the ground, or I'm touching on my toes, I should say. Well, I just practiced waddling it, getting used to the weight, and slowly but surely, I started, you know, working with it and getting it to go. Okay, here we go. A little bit more congestion. So another thing here is cars and trucks and any kind of vehicle, even motorcycles, love to overload or load up the vehicle. I have lots of pictures of amazing uses of people being able to jam things on top or inside of vehicles. It's quite amazing, actually. Well, anyway, thankfully, I know how to use a clutch. So that part was kind of easy for me, or not easy, but easier, because I'm used to driving a stick shift. So I go around and I start in the yard, then there's a field behind where we live, and I just start taking off on this motorcycle. And it was just so amazing, you know, watching YouTube videos paid off. And again, I wasn't in traffic like this. I was on dirt, and I had no gear on whatsoever. I mean, completely squid, like no kind of, not even a helmet. And I at least did ride on the back of motorcycles with a helmet. It was a DOT helmet, not even an ECE. That's changed now, of course. I'll probably do a video on the gear that I ended up using here in Africa, though I did get it abroad, but I'll probably do a video on that later on. Oh, don't hit me. Thank you. So I think I am going to gas up a little bit here and go to my favorite gas station in town, Total. It's a French company, has a lot of gas stations around in Africa, maybe in other parts, but oh, hey! Yeah, there's like very difficult to turn here. You just hope that no one's going to hit you from behind. Okay, good. We got in. Okay, guy. Let me get past you. around.
C'est moi d'abord, non? Il peut patienter. 2 minutes, s'il vous plaît. Merci.
Getting out of here is always a little bit of a adventure. Also, it's really good working on slow speed maneuvers when dealing with this kind of traffic, because you could be rolling and then all of a sudden you're going really, really slow. So I had definitely had to be able to go from getting it in a higher gear to slow, 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 slow. And that was a little bit scary for me at first, because just that quick transition to, hey, I'm rolling and now I got to suddenly stop and go and all of that, even though this isn't like a really large town with a lot of traffic, but definitely had to learn. Just using the unilane here to get wherever I need to go. Me learning how to ride a motorcycle here in Africa was, like I said, nothing I would have thought of. I just had this huge thing about how dangerous motorcycles are. I don't have anyone in my family that rides a motorcycle. I mean, I did have one relative a long time ago that rode, and even then I thought it was crazy, but as far as I know, they're not riding today. There was nothing in the social or cultural surroundings or relationships that I had that would lead me to want to ride a motorcycle. I will say that I do have more of a risk-taking personality, as you can kind of see here in the kind of filtering, or tried to filter, with opposite lane traffic. However, I like to take calculated risks. And for me, having a motorcycle, I didn't quite understand why I needed to have a motorcycle. But now, after doing it, it's felt really, really freeing. I felt the freedom. It's really challenging. And I think by riding, as I think I said earlier, I realized that, hey, I didn't crash right away. I didn't have some sort of terrible thing that happened to me right away. I kind of, saw riding a motorcycle as this thing of chance. It just kind of happens to you that, cars are going to come out of an intersection and hit you at any moment, which can happen and would happen. You would survive better if you were in a car than you were in a motorcycle. But I realized that there are some things that you can do to mitigate the risk, and not just hearing theoretically ways you can mitigate the risk, but actually going out and seeing that put into practice. So I ended up learning and want to go out more and more and more. And as I went out more and more and more, I got the interest just sort of increased. And I saw it as a valuable skill to have in Africa, because as I said, there are sometimes I may go to a place where you can pretty much get places by motorcycle. And even if it's too far for me to bring my own motorcycle, if I borrowed a motorcycle, or if for whatever reason I needed to quickly take a bike somewhere, I have that skill now.
Man, having mirrors is nice.
So the other thing I did after riding in Africa a bit, on my own, just watching YouTube videos of various types of YouTube videos for different kinds of skill sets, I decided that I was going to go to do an MSF course, which is the Motorcycle Safety Foundation course. And I'm thinking about also making a video about that, like my thoughts, and did I find it helpful driving in this really kind of chaotic place. So stay tuned for that. I know the MSF course is not something a typical person in Africa would take. However, there's a lot of videos online that shows the different techniques, and I'm not going to spoil it, but there are definitely some differences to the reality of driving here versus the skills that you learn there. But I'm going to give my thoughts in a more fuller picture, probably, or in that video. So the other thing that I decided that I feel like it's good to continue riding is because, when you're learning how to repair motorcycles, you can get a lot of theoretical knowledge and kind of have the troubleshooting skills on book knowledge, but when you have your own carburetor and you know how the air screw and fuel screw it sounds on the motorcycle, you know how what's a good idle versus a high idle, or you just kind of get some ideas, you know how the chain is supposed to be. You learn about so many different parts of the motorcycle from the actual use of it. And so when I'm troubleshooting it, I can actually check it out for myself. I have an idea of where to start. And then on top of that, it'd be kind of nice if I'm repairing a motorcycle that I can actually ride it to test it out myself. That's also a really great thing. When I was taking the motorcycle training, at that time I didn't know how to ride a motorcycle, so I kind of had to rely on other people to do the riding for me. So that is another reason. I just really feel like that it's just, even though I'm not as young as I used to be, that riding a motorcycle just offers so many opportunities, and I definitely would highly recommend it for people if you want to get involved with it. There are some benefits to learning how to ride in Africa. I know that for some people, doing a skill that for decades of your life you never even thought about doing in your home country, particularly in America or Europe or Australia or something like that, why would I get started here? Well, I can't keep saying this, but I'll probably make a video also talking about, what are the benefits of why I think it's great to start why is it great to start riding here in Africa? What are some of the benefits starting here versus in your home country? And so I think that for now I'm going to let this go. I will let you see me going down this nice little steep pothole hill that I have to evade the potholes while going down this I wouldn't say it's a steep hill, but it's a nice little hill, and it has like the pebbles and the typical dirt and things like that we see here. Where I stay is a very hilly area. You see, even coming up on just having to just randomly slow down, go over these sorts of obstacles, not obstacles, but dents in the road. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for watching, and hopefully next time I'm going to have another video about riding on gravel and my experience of riding on gravel and some ways that you can stay safe if you're riding on gravel. Also, I'm going to be putting out various repair videos for these style of commuter 125, 150cc style bikes. It could be applicable to also dirt bikes and other bikes as well, but since this is the bikes that I work on, I'm going to share some tips and things that I've learned that may help you. All right, guys, stay safe and keep it rolling.